So greetings from First Church Danbury here on Deer Hill Avenue. I'm Rev Pat Kriss, and I'm hoping maybe you might find some intriguing things that are happening in this Sunday's service. You know, this is Women's History Month, and all of us who happen to be women know that there are challenges and blessings to our role, especially when it comes to God. But God chose women in interesting times to make clear what it means to love and be compassionate and to bring the gospel, the good news, to people. First of all, who did God pick to deliver his son to this world? His mother, Mary. And second of all, as we go into his years in the ministry, it was a woman that Jesus went to at the well, in a public well, to ask for water. She was a Samaritan woman. And one of the things about this situation is no Jewish man would ever talk to a woman in public, much less a Samaritan woman. But he spoke to her, and he offered her living water, which she not only accepted, but she also went forth from there as the first disciple, the first proclaimer, talking about what an amazing person this Jesus was. And then later on, when Jesus has raised Lazarus from the dead, he's invited to Lazarus' house where his two sisters, Mary and Martha, lived, and they had a special dinner for him. Now at that dinner, which is the topic of this Sunday's gospel, at that dinner, Mary had taken a flask of the most expensive perfume, and she knelt in front of Jesus and she washed his feet with this expensive perfume, the smell of which filled the house, and then she wiped it with her hair, because she understood that Jesus was on the way to the cross, and she understood that they would not have him all the time. Of course, she was challenged in the room by the officious man who was also betraying Jesus, Judas who claimed, "You're wasting this perfume and you should give that money to the poor." Of course, what he wanted to do was to steal the money from the purse that he kept, that it would come from. And finally, on that glorious morning, when Jesus rose from the dead, who was the first person that he chose to give the message that he had risen? And weeping Mary Magdalene, who had come to anoint the body that she thought she was going to find. And in that moment that she turned and saw Jesus, he said her name. He said, "Mary." And the light filled her soul, and she left proclaiming and ran to the apostles to tell them that he had risen. And what happened? They didn't believe her, because she was just a woman, until Peter himself went to the grave and saw. So in this Women's History Month, we look back on all the women who have delivered the message of love and compassion that God has whispered in their ear. And we invite you to come on Sunday and hear how this all works together as we head nearer and nearer to Easter Sunday.